Hello, so today I'm gonna start and I'm gonna show you how to make some holiday yumminess. These are called arancinis and they're made with rice, and what I did is I cooked 2 cups of brown rice. You could use the Italian rice or any rice that you would like to use. I use the brown one because it's better for you. And what I'm gonna do is, since I cooked it with just plain water, I'm gonna put about half a teaspoon of either vegan mushroom base. You could either buy the cubes and you could grate it and you could add it to it, or this is like a chicken, almost like a chicken stock, but it's not chicken obviously. And I'm just going to put about half a teaspoon. I don't want too much of that because I just want to taste the, almost give it that little saltiness to it. I'm going to use a little bit of saffron, and I'm going to put a drizzle of olive oil. And I'm going to use some of my, where did I put it? Here it is. I'm going to put some of my grated cheese. And I'm going to give you a link on how to make my grated cheese. So I'd say about, let's see, we'll start off with 1/3 cup and see where that takes us. Now, if you're going to use this, do not salt your rice when you're cooking it, because this is salty as it is. So I'm going to put 1/3 cup to start off with and see how it feels when I mix it. So we're going to mix this all together, and then just taste your rice and see how it tastes for you. If you want to add a little extra salt, you can. If you want to add a little extra cheese, you can do that also. And we're going to have to let this cool down before we do anything with it. So we had that drizzle of olive oil, and you could, leave out the olive oil if you want. And I'm just going to see. This is really, really good. And it's nice and flavorful. So I'm going to put a little bit of cracked pepper in it. Or if you don't have a cracker, you can use just fine pepper if you have the fine pepper. And just mix it. And you want this to cool off. We're going to fill them with delicious little stuffings. We're going to make little surprise fillings. Just taste it again. Maybe I'm just going to add a little bit of fine pepper. And remember, it's up to you. If you don't like pepper, don't put the pepper in. If you want them spicy, you could also put hot chili flakes. But I'm just going to use pepper, saffron, and a little bit of vegan stock to it. Now, if you don't want to use the powder form, you could also cook your rice in maybe a mushroom broth or a vegetable broth, and then you don't have to add the powder form. So this tastes great, and we're just going to let this cool off. Meanwhile, I'll put this aside. Meanwhile, I'll show you what I'm going to be stuffing it with. I have some chopped up black olives with garlic. I have some of my coconut bacon. You could put some fresh parsley if you want inside. I have some of my salami that I make that I'm going to slice thin and just cut little bits that I could put right into the center. Or I have the blue cheese that I make, which is amazing. And I will, so if you subscribe, you'll get to know how to make my blue cheese. I'll be putting one of those up soon. I have a mixture of flour and cornstarch that I'm going to be using, and some Italian breadcrumbs, but I'm using the plain one because the Italian one has grated cheese in it. So this has got no cheese. This is just the plain breadcrumbs. But you can add my grated cheese, or if you buy grated cheese, you could add some of that to your breadcrumbs. And I have miso, and I have the white miso. I showed you this in one of my last videos. It's just no GMO soybean paste. And this is going to be my egg wash that I'm going to dilute with some water. And I'll be back when the rice is cooled off, and I'll show you how to make these. Okay, so we're back. So here's my rice that I laid out. I've got more that I have to cool off, but I'm going to start off with this. And you want it to cool off a bit. You do need a bowl of water so that your hands don't get sticky. And you start off with just a little bit in your hands, And we're going to wet our hands. And we're just going to take about a, I'm not sure if you can see me. We're going to take about a, you want it the size, I mean you can make these as big as you want. You can make them super big or you can make them smaller, but because we're filling them, we're going to make them the size of a large Italian meatball. And you need your hands wet so that the rice doesn't stick to your hands. And then we're going to poke a hole and we're going to put a little surprise filling. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of my blue cheese. You don't need that much. You just want to be able to put some inside. And then just close it up. And that's going to be a nice little surprise when somebody bites into it. So that's the blue cheese I'm using. And then we're going to close up our ball. And we're going to roll it in. I have a mixture of starch and flour. And we're going to roll that up again. And then it's going to go into my miso. Back into my flour. Or you could do this just once. You don't have to do it twice. Back into my miso. And then we're going to put this in my breadcrumbs. And that's it. You keep doing this to all your balls. It's a nice size arancini, or you could even make them a little smaller if you want. And just put them aside, and then we're going to fry those. So we're going to do it again. We're going to wet our hands. And we're going to take a nice size ball of rice. Keep your hands nice and wet. Poke a hole. Now we're going to put some of my salami I make. And a little pinch of parsley. Close it up. And then we're going to go back into, there we go, back into the flour cornstarch mixture I have. Actually, it's not cornstarch, it's tapioca. If I can't find organic cornstarch, I don't bother buying cornstarch. So I'm using tapioca. And then we're going to take it and put it into our breadcrumbs. So we're going to continue doing this. And just show you how easy it is. And these are great for the holidays. It's a nice finger food. Got to remember to wet our hands, because it could get sticky. I'm going to poke a hole, and we're going to put some of my black olive and garlic. You don't need that much. Maybe just put some rice on top. And it really is a nice surprise when you pop these in your mouth. And they make great snack food, nice finger foods for kids. And they're just so delicious. Into the miso, and then straight into the breadcrumbs. And if you want, you could also mix your breadcrumbs with panko. And it gives a nice crunchy bite. Okay. So they really are that easy to make. And these are great if you're having a get-together around Christmas time. Or any occasion. This could even be a nice picnic food if you're in the summer. Easy to carry. And what's good about the miso is it only gets thicker as you're using it because of the flour and the cornstarch that falls into it. So if you find that you're running out of miso liquid, don't worry about it. All you have to do is add some water to it. Remember to always wet your hands so you don't stick that rice all over you. If you ever have some leftover rice, if you've made rice for dinner and you don't know what to do with that leftover rice, this is also something good that you can make. And it doesn't seem like leftover rice. It just feels like mom went out and slaved over the stove and it took you 10-15 minutes to make this. Italians, what they do is they put like a bolognese sauce in, or just what I do is when I make my sauce, I use the gyro meat that I make. I cut it either in cubes and I throw that in my sauce when I'm making my sauce, or when I do make my gyro meat, I pull the meat before I cook it. So I make these little bits that I pull apart and I throw it into the sauce and it cooks either into the sauce, or you can cook it in a broth and then use the bits when you do make your sauce. If the guys are over the house and they're watching a football game or a hockey game, this is fun finger food you can make for them. And for all my American friends, Thanksgiving is around the corner for you guys. This is also something that you can make for them. Put this on the table. It's a nice little side that you can have. Who says that Thanksgiving has to be about the turkey? It could be about all this wonderful food that we have to eat, that there's no suffering involved. You know, when someone asks you're vegan, well, you know, what do you eat? Well, we eat all kinds of great food. We have more of a variety, or we eat more of a variety being vegan than someone who doesn't. I know when I go grocery shopping and I fill my carriage to the top with beautiful green produce, fruits, vegetables, and I look at the carriage of a meat eater and all they have is meat and potatoes. There's hardly any greens. So I'm going to keep making them and I'll show you what they look like once they're done. So here we are. We finished making the arancinis, and this is what I got out of 2 cups of brown rice. So they're nice size and they're all assorted. So it's going to be a nice surprise when someone just picks one up and takes a bite into it. So I'm going to fry some of these up and we'll see what they look like when they're done. You can see the rice is starting to sizzle, so the oil is going to be done soon. Now remember, the rice is cooked. You just want to brown the outside. So let's go. You drop it in. Okay, so here we go. I dropped one in, and we're going to drop another one. Watch your fingers, and just cook them till they're nice and golden. And these also make very nice little hors d'oeuvres. You might want to make them a little smaller if you make hors d'oeuvres. So if you're wondering what to do with that leftover rice, here you go. Arancinis. They're getting nice and golden. And they hold very well, as you can see. And we didn't have to use any egg whatsoever inside these arancini balls. Have some paper ready to put these on so they could drain. So I'm just going to keep cooking these and I'll be back to show you the final product. So how beautiful are they? Here they are. They're my finished product. Crack one open and see what kind of a surprise you get. Aren't they wonderful? Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you.